Archangel Michael is standing between someone you love and a spiritual attack, but time is running out to save them. Open this before it's too late. In this very hour, a divine stirring has been released into the earth, a trembling in the unseen realm that cannot be ignored. Heaven is sounding an alarm, and the voice of the Lord echoes with urgency across the corridors of time. This is not a gentle whisper, nor a soft invitation. This is a cry of war, a trumpet blast of warning, and a declaration that the angelic hosts have been dispatched on urgent assignment. Archangel Michael, the mighty warrior of heaven, the commander of the Lord's armies, has been sent forth to intervene at this crucial hour. His sword is unsheathed, his stance is firm, and his shield is lifted high to stand between the one you love and the forces of darkness that seek to devour them. The weight of this message is not casual. It is not light, nor is it something to hear in passing. It is heavy with eternal consequence, and the very air around it is thick with destiny. Someone you love is standing on the edge of unseen danger, and though their natural eyes cannot perceive it, their soul is being pressed under the weight of invisible chains. The enemy's hands are outstretched, reaching to ensnare, but Michael is standing in the gap, intercepting, restraining, holding back the tide that longs to sweep them away. Yet this covering is not endless, for the heavens have decreed that time is short. Intervention is still possible, but only if obedience rises from your spirit like incense before the throne. Understand this now. Not every soul has been chosen to receive this word. This is not for those who scroll in distraction or mock the mysteries of the Spirit. This is for those who feel the trembling in their bones, those whose hearts pound at the sound of the heavenly trumpet, those who have long discerned the shifting winds of the unseen. Heaven speaks only to the attuned, only to the watchful, only to the vessels who know how to still themselves and hear the whisper of God. This is why you have been drawn here, in this moment, in this hour, because the Spirit has summoned you to hear and to act. Be still now. Silence the noise of your thoughts, quiet the turmoil of your heart. For what is being spoken is not from flesh, nor from man, but from the courts of heaven itself. Archangel Michael is standing ready. But your response, your obedience, your faith will determine whether this intervention seals into victory or fades into loss. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1444 is now surrounding you. Before the sun rises, you must hear this. Before another breath slips through the quiet hours of the night, you must grasp what is being revealed from the throne of heaven. A disturbance has rippled through the spiritual realm, and the peace that once surrounded you and your house has been pierced. Do not dismiss this moment as coincidence, for there is no coincidence in the kingdom of God. This interruption, this sudden stirring, is heaven's way of pulling you into alignment with an urgent assignment. Archangel Michael, the great defender, the warrior of light, the captain of angelic armies, is not a distant myth nor a vague symbol. He is real, present, and standing at attention in this very hour. He has been released by divine command to defend the chosen, to guard the gates of destiny, and to contend with the shadows that move unseen. You have felt it already, that strange heaviness in the atmosphere, that restless spirit in your nights, that sense that something is shifting but cannot yet be named. This is the evidence of Michael's sword clashing against the forces that desire to consume. But hear this, Michael does not fight without cause. He does not descend without purpose. If he is here, if the heavens have released him on assignment, it is because something of great value is at stake. A soul you love, one connected to your destiny, has been marked. The adversary has whispered lies around them, stirred confusion near them, and sought to plant shadows in their path. And yet, Michael has been dispatched to hold back the tide, for now. His shield is raised, his wings stretch wide, and his presence cuts through the darkness like fire through dry wood. Still, his command from heaven is not to fight endlessly alone. The order is clear. He stands as long as obedience from the chosen rises in faith. Not all were meant to hear this word. Not all were chosen to carry its weight. Some pass by without sensing the urgency. But if you are here, if your ears are burning and your heart is pounding, then this message has singled you out. Heaven has interrupted your ordinary moments because you are not ordinary. You are Mandel. You are marked. You are aligned to a purpose that goes beyond yourself. And the one you love is standing in the center of a battle that could alter their future forever. Think of the silence between breaths right now. It is in that silence that the spirit realm is moving. Michael waits, not for noise, not for panic, but for alignment. Your words, your prayers, your obedience, these are the keys that will open the gates of divine protection fully. He holds back the tide, but you must rise to stand with him. The war is already raging. The storm is already building, and the heavens are waiting for your agreement to release the final blow. This is why you cannot ignore this. This is why you cannot delay. Before the light of dawn breaks again, the call has already been given. You are not hearing this by chance. Heaven has placed this message before you as an invitation and as a test. Will you rise? Will you align? Will you stand in agreement with Michael, the defender of the chosen, before time slips away? The hour is late, but the grace is here. The attack is real, but the victory is possible. Heaven waits for your answer. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing Node 1122 is now activated. There are whispers in the unseen, faint but piercing. Whispers that coil like smoke around the lives of those you love, seeking to confuse, to unsettle, to sow doubt and suspicion. You have felt it already, the subtle shift in atmosphere, the strange behavior of those closest to you, the words that cut sharper than they should, the sudden silence that feels heavy with unspoken thoughts. Do not be deceived. These are not natural disturbances. They are spiritual tremors. The enemy always begins with whispers, because whispers grow into storms when left unchallenged. Someone close to you is caught in this net. They may not know it, but their steps have been shadowed. You've seen it in their eyes, the distance, the restlessness, the sudden flare of anger or fear. These are not random moods. They are symptoms of an invisible attack. The adversary studies their weaknesses, presses upon their frailties, and tries to use their humanity against them. And though they are loved, though they are chosen, they are vulnerable right now, because the unseen pressure grows heavy with each passing hour. There are hidden enemies, too, people who watch but do not understand. They sense something about you, about the one you love, but their knowledge is partial, incomplete. They see the glow of destiny, but cannot name it. So they move in suspicion, sometimes in jealousy, sometimes in fear. They whisper behind doors, they scheme in shadows, but they cannot fully grasp what God has sealed. And because they do not understand, they become pawns in a battle greater than themselves. This is why your spirit has felt restless. That unease you cannot quite shake off. That sense that something is off. That is not paranoia. It is discernment. Heaven allows the sensitive to feel the tremors before the quake, to sense the disturbance before the strike. The confusion, the subtle suspicion, the words that don't quite align, All of these are signs of the spiritual turbulence at work. You are not imagining it. Your spirit is awake because heaven is signaling. But here lies the mystery. They know something about you, yet not everything. They sense the oil upon you, but not its measure. They see the shimmer of glory, but not the full vision of your destiny. The enemy himself suspects, but he does not see the entire plan of heaven. That is why the attack seems scattered, why the disruption feels indirect. The adversary gropes in darkness, trying to find a weakness, testing the edges of your life and the life of the one you love. Yet heaven keeps secrets, and what is concealed in the courts of God cannot be stoned by the hands of darkness. Do not allow fear to choke you now. Instead, let this awareness anchor you deeper. The unease is confirmation. The disruption is evidence. Heaven is letting you see enough to awaken your obedience, but not enough to reveal the fullness of its plan to the enemy. That is why Michael stands watch, because while they whisper, while they scheme, while confusion swirls, he holds the line. He guards what is unseen and protects what is destined. But still, your obedience is the key that strengthens his stand. Remember, whispers are not the end. They are the beginning of exposure. What has been hidden will be revealed, and what has been whispered will be shouted from the rooftops in God's timing. For now, stand firm in discernment. The mystery is not your burden, it is your confirmation. Type "I am guarded" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1717 is now surrounding you. Beloved, as you hear these words and feel heaven stirring, know this. Every seed you sow into this mission is a seed of protection, a seed of deliverance, a seed that helps rescue souls standing on the edge of darkness. When you give, you are not just supporting a channel. You are fueling the trumpet blast of heaven that awakens the chosen. The word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." And right now, your giving is that prophetic act of sowing into the harvest of deliverance. I feel led to say this plainly. I invite you to rise with me, not just as a listener, but as a warrior standing in the gap. Your support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description becomes a holy partnership in breaking chains and opening gates of destiny. This is not charity. This is obedience. It is alignment. It is planting into eternal soil that yields an unshakable harvest. Those who give into this word will not only see breakthrough in the lives of others, but breakthrough in their own house. Your gift is a weapon. Your offering is oil. Your support is fire. Step into it now. What you are witnessing, what you are sensing, what you are battling in this moment is not merely human misunderstanding, not merely emotional turbulence, not merely the chaos of everyday life. No, it is war in the spirit. The conflict that surrounds you, the unrest you feel concerning the one you love, is the byproduct of a greater battle that rages in unseen places. The darkness does not pursue what is empty. The adversary does not waste his weapons on those without calling. The attacks intensify precisely because heaven's plan is near to breaking through. Understand this clearly. The war is not against flesh and blood. It is not your loved one against you, nor strangers against your peace, nor life circumstances conspiring without cause. This is war against destiny. The enemy has marked the one you love not because of their weakness, but because of their potential. He has marked them because there is a divine seed planted within their life, a seed of calling, a seed of promise, a seed that carries weight in the eternal plan of God. And so the attacks are sharpened, the whisper is louder, the disruption heavier, not because they are forgotten by heaven, but because they are chosen. Let this be a revelation to your spirit. The presence of opposition is proof of your divine selection. The storm you are facing is not rejection. It is confirmation. The greater the conflict, the greater the calling. The deeper the darkness, the brighter the light about to break forth. Michael stands at the threshold because the adversary has drawn near. But Michael's very presence testifies that heaven has invested interest in the outcome of this battle. And what, then, is your role in this? Your reactions shape the atmosphere. Your silence becomes a weapon. Your obedience becomes a shield. Your prayer becomes a fortress. Every word spoken in faith, every moment spent in stillness before the Lord, every act of obedience shifts the balance of the fight. The enemy longs to provoke you into fear, into anger, into rash words that open doors. But heaven is calling you to stillness, to alignment, to be a vessel through which the power of God can flow unhindered. Hear this truth. Heaven records every move. The unseen scribes inscribe your faith, your obedience, your posture of heart. Every tear you shed, every whispered prayer in the dark of night, every sigh when words cannot form, they are all kept in the archives of heaven. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is unseen. The battle you fight quietly in your spirit is fully acknowledged in the course above, and the armies of heaven are moved by the alignment of your will with the will of God. Do not mistake silence for passivity. Silence in obedience is thunder in the spirit realm. Do not mistake waiting for weakness. Waiting in faith is warfare in its highest form. While the adversary rages and schemes, heaven watches closely, marking your responses, measuring your readiness. Michael does not stand in vain. He stands because the throne has decreed that your obedience carries power in this battle. And so I tell you now, take heart. The conflict is not the evidence of your defeat, but of your rising. The weight pressing against you and your loved one is proof of the glory that heaven is about to reveal. Stand in faith and know that you are not a victim of circumstance. You are a participant in divine war. And with Michael at the gate, the outcome belongs to the faithful. Type "I am victorious" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1818 is now covering you. The heavens are trembling with urgency. I must speak plainly now. The plot is not resting, it is gathering speed. The enemy's schemes do not sleep, and even now, a strategy is forming against the one you love. There is a convergence of darkness moving into place, a momentum building like the tightening of a snare. Within 72 hours, the intensity of this assault will begin to escalate. You will see signs in the natural that confirm what I speak. Conversations will turn unexpectedly sharp. Unexpected news may strike. Disruptions will attempt to break your focus. These are not coincidences. They are the ripples of the storm breaking into your world. Do not be deceived by the calm before it. Storms often approach under a veil of stillness. The adversary moves quietly, like a shadow that creeps at twilight, concealing his hand until the strike comes. But heaven has revealed this ahead of time, not to create fear, but to prepare your spirit, to anchor your obedience, and to awaken your authority. The warning has been issued because the hour of decision is at hand. Picture the storm clouds gathering on a horizon. The sky darkens, the wind shifts, the pressure in the air grows heavy. That is what is happening in the spirit even now. You may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit has felt it. The restlessness, the strange heaviness, the unexpected disruptions. These are the signs of war approaching. The plot against your loved ones seeks to choke their strength, to pull them into snares of confusion and despair. But the hand of Michael is lifted, his sword is raised, and the armies of heaven stand at attention. Still, hear this with clarity. His presence alone does not guarantee victory. Your alignment, your obedience, your agreement with heaven must be sealed in this critical hour. The temptation you will face in the days ahead is to dismiss this stirring, to explain it away as chance, or to retreat into fear. Do not yield to either. Fear is the language of the adversary, but faith is the weapon of the chosen. Heaven has given you for warning so that you may stand, so that you may cover your loved one with prayer, so that you may invoke the authority given to you by Christ to bind the schemes of darkness. The confrontation is coming. The schemes are gathering, but you are not without covering. Michael has been stationed at the threshold because God has determined that your loved one's life, their destiny, their future, is too valuable to be handed over to destruction. Yet heaven requires obedience from you, not in some distant future, not in weeks from now, but in this hour. For the 72-hour window is not to be wasted. It is the mercy of God giving time for you to act, to pray, to fast, to intercede, and to call upon divine protection with boldness. The time is short, but the authority is great. You hold the keys to intercession that can shift the atmosphere around your loved one's life. Michael stands ready. The armies of heaven await. But the power of agreement must rise from you. You are being called not only as a hearer of this word, but as a doer, as a watchman at the wall, as one who refuses to surrender what God has entrusted. Let the weight of this sink deeply into your spirit. The storm is real, the plot is active, but the victory is possible. Heaven has warned you not to frighten you, but to arm you. Will you rise? Will you align? Will you claim the protection that is waiting to be released? The choice is yours, but the window is closing. Type "I'm ready" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2020 is now surrounding you. Be still now, for heaven's wisdom is being poured like oil over your spirit. In times of mounting conflict, the greatest shield is not frantic action, but sacred stillness. The voice of God does not compete with chaos. It cuts through it. And in this hour, the command from heaven is clear. Silence will be your protection. Obedience will be your defense, and prayer will be your weapon. The adversary longs to provoke you. He wants you to answer in anger, to lash out in fear, to engage in arguments that leave you drained and vulnerable. He desires to pull you into his rhythm, for the enemy thrives on noise, on confusion, on scattered thought. But you, chosen one, are being instructed to withdraw. Step back from unnecessary battles. Close the door to endless debates. Seal your lips from words that do not edify. For when you are silent, heaven speaks. When you are still, the Spirit of God moves more powerfully than you could by your own striving. Do not mistake silence for weakness. Silence in obedience is a fortress. When you resist the urge to respond in the flesh, you strengthen the walls of your spirit. The arrows may fly, but they will not pierce. The accusations may come, but they will fall to the ground without effect. For you are not standing alone. You are under covering. Michael's sword is drawn, his shield surrounds, and the angels of the Lord encamp round about those who fear him. The battle rages, but you are not exposed. You are guarded, sheltered, hidden in the shadow of the Almighty. In this season, guard your atmosphere as you would guard your very life. Turn away from distractions that weaken your discernment. Resist the voices that stir doubt. Instead, elevate your spirit through fasting, through prayer, through quiet meditation on the Word. These practices are not rituals, they are weapons forged in heaven's fire. When you fast, you strip away the enemy's grip. When you pray, you summon the hosts of heaven into the battle. When you wait silently before God, you become a conduit for His strategies, His visions, His whispers of direction. Affirm this daily. I am covered. I am shielded. I am hidden under the wings of God. Speak it over yourself. Speak it over the one you love. Speak it until your atmosphere shifts. The darkness may encircle, but light always pierces. The whispers of fear may rise, but truth always silences them. Every protective word you declare becomes a wall of fire around your house. Every prayer an arrow that pierces the schemes of the adversary. The temptation in these hours is to panic, to believe the enemy's threats are greater than God's promises. But you must remember, Michael does not stand idly. His sword gleams with holy fire. His presence strikes terror into the hosts of darkness, and his assignment is to hold back the flood until your alignment seals the victory. This is why heaven commands you to remain still, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening in the unseen. Your stillness is trust. Your silence is surrender. Your obedience is power. If you will remain in alignment, no weapon formed against you or the one you love shall prosper. The storm may come, but the house built on obedience will stand. The waves may crash, but the one covered by heaven's shield will remain unshaken. So take refuge now. Step into stillness. Lift your spirit in prayer and know that you are not defenseless. Michael stands guard. Heaven watches closely, and the victory is already inscribed in the unseen. Type I am covered in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3333 is now surrounding you. The time has come to shift. No longer will you see yourself as helpless, tossed about by the winds of unseen storms. No longer will you view the one you love as a victim of circumstances too great to overcome. You must hear this with clarity. You are not powerless. You are not abandoned. You are not standing in this battle as a beggar, but as a warrior clothed in light, strengthened by trials, and anointed for victory. Every tear you have shed has been a seed. Every sleepless night has been training. Every burden that pressed upon you was not sent to crush you, but to awaken the strength hidden inside of you. Do you not see it? The very battles that tried to break you have instead forged you. The fire has burned away the weakness, and what remains is pure, refined, unshakable faith. What the enemy meant for evil, God has already begun to turn into fuel for your rising. This is why the storm has raged so fiercely. It is not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. The adversary saw the wings unfolding on your back, the fire burning in your spirit, and he struck early to intimidate you, to cause you to retreat before you realized who you truly are. But hear me now. You are no longer who they thought you were. You are no longer who you used to be. You have been transformed by the pressing, strengthened by the waiting, anointed by the tears that fell as offerings before the throne of God. You are rising now, not as the fearful, but as the fearless. Not as the overlooked, but as the chosen. You are stepping into divine authority, not because of your own might, but because heaven has clothed you in its mantle. Michael does not stand beside the weak in vain. He stands with those who are awakening to their assignment, those who are stepping into their identity as warriors of light. This is who you are becoming in this very hour. Lift your head, chosen one. Spread your wings in the Spirit. Feel the fire that has been kindled within you. The storm was not sent to drown you. It was sent to reveal that you can walk on water. The chains were not placed to break you. They were placed so that when they fall, the sound of your freedom will echo as a testimony to others. Your trials have been the birthing ground of your authority. So rise in boldness. Speak with conviction. Declare with confidence that you are no longer a prisoner of circumstance, but a commander of destiny. Michael stands ready, but he is not standing alone. He is waiting for you to walk in step with him, to wield the authority of your words, to lift your hands in prayer, to walk boldly in obedience. You are not a spectator in this battle. You are a laborer with heaven. Do not fear what is ahead. Fear is the weapon of the defeated, but faith is the banner of the victorious. And you, beloved, are marked for victory. Stand firm, step forward, and let your spirit roar with the authority heaven has placed upon you. The tide is turning. The shift is happening. You are rising now in strength, in light, in power. Type "I am strong" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5555 is now covering you. Hear me now, for the veil is lifting. What you thought was only about you is bigger, deeper, and more divine than you realized. The storm that has risen is not just aimed at your peace. It is aimed at the destiny of the one you love. Heaven has revealed this truth. The reason for the intensity of the battle is that they too carry a mantle. They too are chosen. They too have a calling etched into the scrolls of eternity. The enemy is not wasting his strength. He is trying to suffocate a seed of destiny before it matures into fruit. This is why the shadows have drawn near. This is why confusion has hovered over their steps. This is why strange behavior, sudden changes, and unexplainable heaviness have surrounded them. It is not random. It is targeted. The adversary has glimpsed enough to know that this life holds keys. This life holds gates. This life holds a promise that could shake the very foundation of darkness. And so the storm comes, not as a punishment, but as proof of promotion at hand. But hear the greater revelation. Heaven has called their name. Heaven has inscribed their destiny. And Michael has been assigned not only to guard you, but to guard them. Do you see the pattern now? The shaking is not for destruction, it is preparation. The turbulence is not to break them, but to awaken them. Heaven is not punishing, heaven is unlocking. The gate to a higher calling stands before them, and the adversary rages because he knows that once they cross, they will never return to who they were. Your role in this moment is holy. You are not merely watching from a distance, you are standing in the gap. Your prayers, your obedience, your intercession are the bridge that carries them from vulnerability into victory. You have been chosen not just for your own sake, but as a guardian of destiny for the one you love. Do not underestimate the weight of this assignment. Heaven entrusted this revelation to you because heaven knows you will act. Take comfort in this. Heaven knows their name. Heaven knows the details of their life that no one else sees. Heaven knows the battles they fight in silence, the tears they shed when no one is watching, the burdens they carry without speaking. And heaven has sent Michael because heaven has declared, this one shall not be lost. The shaking is evidence that a new blessing, a new anointing, a new chapter is about to be birthed. So do not fear the storm. Do not despise the turbulence. It is the sign that heaven is at work. For when the winds blow hardest, It is because the gate of blessing is about to swing wide. The one you love is on the edge of a breakthrough, and though darkness tries to pull them back, the light is stronger, the covering is stronger, and the word of the Lord will stand. You must hold this revelation close. This storm is not the end. It is the beginning. The proof of the attack is the proof of their calling. The fiercer the storm, the greater the destiny. And Michael is already stationed to ensure that what heaven has written cannot be erased. Type "I am awakened" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7777 is now activated. Beloved, now that you have received this revelation, understand the weight of what you carry. Each time you support this mission, you are fueling the trumpet of heaven that wakens others just like this. Souls standing at the edge of their breakthrough, unaware of the storm around them. The word declares, "He who waters will himself be watered," and when you give, you are pouring living water into the soil of deliverance. I say this to you from my heart. Your super thanks, your membership, or your offering through the PayPal link in the description is more than generosity. It is a prophetic act. It is oil poured on the fire. It is seed planted into the harvest of salvation. It is alignment with heaven's agenda. When you release it, heaven releases over you. When you sow, angels move on your behalf. When you step into this moment, your obedience becomes a shield not only for others but for your own household. Do not delay. The gate of giving is open. Step into it now, and let heaven see your faith in action. The heavens are waiting. The armies of light are watching. The sword of Michael gleams at the edge of battle, but the final release depends upon one thing: your yes. Heaven does not force obedience. It invites it. And in this moment, your agreement, your declaration, your alignment is the key that unlocks the victory. The destiny of your loved one, the protection over their path, the breakthrough that is stirring in the atmosphere, all of it is tied to whether you will step boldly into activation. You cannot remain silent now. Silence was protection and the waiting, but now your words must rise like fire. Your declarations, spoken in faith, will set angels in motion. Your prayers, prayed with authority, will become a fortress around the one you love. Your worship, lifted without fear, will shift the atmosphere of your house and break the chains that the adversary is tightening. Heaven waits for your agreement, for your yes, for your willingness to stand not as a victim but as an activator of divine change. This is why the enemy tried so hard to silence you, to discourage you, to make you believe your prayers had no power. He feared this moment, the moment when you would realize that your voice carries the authority of heaven itself. The same spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells in you. The same word that spoke the stars into being is now written upon your lips. When you speak in faith, you are not merely making sounds. You are releasing decrees that shake the very foundations of darkness. Now is the time to rise. Declare boldly, "The one I love is covered. Their destiny is secured. No weapon formed against them shall prosper. Every chain is broken. Every scheme is cancelled. Every attack is reversed." Do not whisper it timidly. Speak it with authority. Proclaim it as though heaven itself were echoing through your mouth, because it is. Your alignment with heaven makes your voice a weapon. Your agreement with God makes your prayer a sword. This is not the hour to retreat into fear. This is the hour to stand in power. You have been called to be more than a watcher. You are a warrior. More than a hearer, you are a doer. More than a shield, you are a weapon in the hand of God. and the destiny of the one you love requires you to step fully into that role. The scrolls of heaven are unrolling even now. The names of the chosen are being declared. The battles in the unseen are awaiting the final word, and heaven has chosen you to speak it. You are the activator of change, the breaker of chains, the intercessor who shifts destinies. Do not underestimate your power in this moment. You are the one who stands between defeat and deliverance, between despair and destiny. Rise now. Speak boldly. Activate the promises of God with your words, with your faith, with your unwavering obedience. The one you love is depending on it. Heaven is waiting for it, and Michael is holding the line until you declare it. Do not delay. Do not hesitate. This is your moment of activation. Type "I am activated" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9999 is now surrounding you. Even now, as you listen, as your heart trembles under the weight of this word, there is a silent exchange taking place in the unseen. The spirit realm is alive with negotiations, with movements, with decrees. You may not hear it with your ears, you may not see it with your eyes, but your spirit knows it is happening. That restlessness you felt, that heaviness in the atmosphere, that stirring in your soul, it was not confusion. It was the sound of heaven working on your behalf, shifting what the enemy thought he had secured. Archangel Michael is not standing still. He is not idle at the threshold of your life or the life of the one you love. He is standing guard as transactions of destiny are being sealed. What was stolen is being returned. What was delayed is being released. What was locked up in chains is being loosed even now. The adversary may rage, but heaven has already begun the process of reversal. Your tears, your prayers, your obedience, they have been gathered as evidence in the courts of heaven, and the verdict is leaning in your favor. Imagine this. While you cry in silence, heaven records every drop as testimony. While you sleep at night, angels are dispatched, fighting battles you never see. While you lift your voice in prayer, even in weakness, the sound echoes like thunder in the spirit realm. Nothing has been wasted. Not one moment of sorrow, not one whispered plea, not one sigh of your spirit has gone unnoticed. All of it has been added to the weight of this holy exchange. This is why you have felt so restless, why you could not shake the sense that something was shifting. Because it was. The adversary tried to convince you it was only anxiety, only confusion, only emptiness. But in truth, it was the groaning of your spirit aligning with the groaning of heaven. For even creation groans for the fulfillment of God's plan. And right now, your spirit is in sync with the movements of the unseen. Do not be deceived into thinking anything is lost forever. What heaven seals cannot be stolen. What heaven has marked cannot be erased. The adversary may attempt to delay, but he cannot destroy what is divinely ordained. That is why Michael stands, not only as a defender, but as an enforcer of heaven's decree. He ensures that every promise written over your life and over the life of the one you love is carried out without interference. Rest in this truth. Nothing is slipping through your fingers. It is not vanishing. It is being divinely transferred. What seemed like loss is being shifted into preparation. What looked like delay is being restructured into perfect timing. What felt like weakness is being transformed into testimony. The exchange is taking place silently, invisibly, powerfully. So even if your natural eyes see no change yet, trust what your spirit already knows. Heaven is moving. The exchange is happening. Restoration is unfolding, and Michael stands as the witness and the warrior, ensuring that what heaven has decreed will come to pass. Type "I am restored" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1010 is now covering you. The hour of justice has come. What the enemy designed in secret, what was whispered in darkness, what was planned as harm against the one you love, heaven has already turned it into a decree of reversal. Hear this clearly. The adversary will reap what he has sown. The pit dug for your loved one will become the grave of the accuser. The snare laid out in deception will entangle the hands of those who built it. The arrows that were drawn against you will bend back toward the bow of the enemy. For God is a God of justice, and he will not allow his chosen to be devoured. Do not be fooled by appearances. It may look for a moment as though the darkness advances, as though the storm grows louder. But what you are seeing is not victory for the adversary. It is the last desperate push before collapse. The scales of heaven are balancing. The gavel of God has already struck. And when heaven decrees reversal, no earthly power, no demonic force, no hidden scheme can stand against it. The reversal has begun. The very weapons that were sharpened against the one you love will now be dismantled and forged into testimonies. The lies spoken against them will crumble, and truth will rise like the morning sun. The doors the enemy tried to close will swing open with greater force than before. The shame the adversary tried to place upon them will be transformed into honor. The confusion he stirred will give way to clarity so sharp that it will expose every shadow. And listen carefully. This is not merely a temporary relief. This is divine justice. When God reverses a scheme, he does not restore only what was lost. He multiplies. He takes what was meant for harm and turns it into abundance. He takes what was meant to silence and transforms it into a platform of testimony. He takes what was meant to bury and transforms it into resurrection. That is what is unfolding now in the unseen, not just survival, but overflow. Not just reversal, but restoration with interest. Michael stands as the enforcer of this decree. His presence ensures that justice is not delayed, that the scales are not tampered with, that the adversary is forced to watch his own plans crumble. The hosts of heaven march in alignment with this verdict. They are reclaiming what was stolen, uprooting what was planted in darkness, and sealing every reversal with the stamp of heaven. Let your spirit rest in this truth. The victory has already been signed in the spirit. It is not a possibility, it is a certainty. The storm may rage, but it cannot erase what has already been written. The adversary may resist, but resistance cannot overturn a divine decree. The word has gone forth, the order has been sealed, and the reversal is in motion. So stand tall, beloved. Do not fear the shaking, for the shaking is proof that the foundations of the enemy are collapsing. Do not tremble at the storm, for the storm is carrying your deliverance. Justice is not coming. Justice is here. The God of reversal has spoken, and the adversary is undone. Type "I am justified" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8888 is now activated. Hear this final word. The battle is not yours. It is the Lord's. Archangel Michael has stood guard. Heaven has issued its decree, and justice has been released into the atmosphere. Though the enemy sought to devour, he has been restrained. Though darkness sought to consume, light has broken through. Though the one you love was targeted, heaven has covered them with protection and marked them for destiny. This is the hour of sealing, the hour of victory, the hour when your obedience secures the promise. You must carry this truth with you. You are not abandoned. You are not unseen, and you are not unprotected. Heaven has wrapped you in its covering, sealed you with its blessing, and positioned you in the path of favor. The armies of the Lord do not move in vain, and the presence of Michael is the proof that you and your loved one are marked for a greater purpose. This shaking was never for destruction. It was always preparation. It was always awakening. It was always about lifting you higher into the call that was written over your life from the beginning of time. Now walk forward with confidence. Let your spirit be at rest, knowing that the sword of Michael is drawn, that the word of God is unshaken, and that the promise of the Lord is yes and amen. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. You are walking out of this battle not as the broken, but as the chosen, not as the victim, but as the victorious. Your loved one is not lost. They are being carried, shielded, and guided into their destiny. And you, beloved, are the vessel through which this victory was activated. Take courage, for the final blessing has already been declared. Peace over your house, clarity over your mind, strength in your spirit, and favor over your steps. Go forth now, not in fear but in faith, not in weakness, but in power, not in silence, but in authority. The heavens have spoken, the angels are moving, and your destiny is secure. Type "I am sealed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1212 is now covering you. Before we close, beloved, I must speak this with holy urgency. If this word has ignited your spirit, if it has awakened you to the unseen battle and sealed you with the promise of victory, then step into agreement with heaven through a prophetic act of giving. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not a suggestion. It is a decree that your seed unlocks heavenly overflow. Your super thanks, your membership, or your offering through the PayPal link in the description is not just support. It is partnership in the mission of heaven. Each gift is a declaration that you are aligned with this trumpet of warning, this message of deliverance, this work of God that rescues the chosen from the edge of destruction. When you sow into this mantle, the oil flows back into your own house. When you release what is in your hand, heaven releases what is in its hand. Do not hold back. Do not delay. This is your one to act in faith. Give boldly and watch as heaven pours out blessing that cannot be contained.